minute, so we'll go ahead and get started. Again, good evening and welcome to the virtual project update meeting for the 5th Street Bridge Replacement Design Project. The purpose of this meeting is to present the proposed design for replacement of the bridge and to provide you with an opportunity to give us some feedback. We are recording this meeting, and again, all comments and questions that we receive will receive a written response after the meeting. The project is being conducted in cooperation with the Florida Department of Transportation and in accordance with all applicable state and federal regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Public participation is encouraged and solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express concerns about Title VI compliance may do so by contacting the FDOT's District 5 Title VI Coordinator, Jennifer Smith, by phone at 386-943-5367 or by email at jennifer.smith@dot.state.fl.us. You may also contact FDOT's statewide Title VI Coordinator, Jacqueline Paramore, by phone at 850-414-4753 or email jacqueline.paramore@dot.state.fl.us. All inquiries or complaints will be handled according to FDOT procedure and in a prompt and courteous manner. The environmental review, consultation, and other actions required by applicable federal environmental laws for this project are being or have been carried out by the Florida Department of Transportation pursuant to Title 23 United States Code Section 327 and a Memorandum of Understanding dated December 14, 2016, and executed by the Federal Highway Administration and the FDOT. The 5th Street Bridge spans Yacht Club Cut and serves as the only vehicle access from Riverside Drive to the Smyrna Yacht Club and the residents along Commodore Drive. The current bridge was constructed in 1965 and is a single span measuring 31 feet 10 inches across. It provides one travel lane in each direction and has a maximum weight limit of 15 tons. The existing bridge and roadway approaches are in poor condition with deteriorating slope protection at each bridge approach. The existing bridge structure carries several utilities, including water, sewer, and gas lines. In addition, overhead electric and cable are located next to the north side of the bridge. In 2018, the City of New Smyrna Beach launched a project to design a replacement bridge. The original design would have provided a single 35-foot-long bridge with one travel lane in each direction and a sidewalk. This design was presented to the community at a public meeting on November 1, 2018. Based on the community's feedback and desire to widen Yacht Club Cut to improve flow in the channel, the city decided to pursue design of a longer bridge. The necessary expanded environmental review for a longer span began in September 2019. The new proposed design provides two 9-foot wide travel lanes and 2-foot wide shoulders on the approaches on each side of the bridge. The proposed bridge would provide two 9-foot wide travel lanes, 2.5-foot wide shoulders, and a sidewalk on the north side of the bridge. As shown in this view, the new proposed design calls for a 3-span bridge measuring about 160 feet across. This design would remove several feet of the existing embankment and reconstruct the slopes with rubble riprap. The environmental review included identification of the protected species that could be impacted, such as manatees, sea turtles, and small-toothed sawfish. The review also determined steps that would be needed to avoid, minimize, or mitigate any environmental impacts. The results of the evaluation determined numerous environmental commitments, including a mangrove mitigation plan, relocation of oyster beds, developing an essential fish habitat mitigation plan, taking measures to protect sea turtles, sawfish, and manatees during construction, and installing grates on the drainage culverts to keep manatees from entering the pipes. During construction of the replacement bridge, a temporary bridge will be installed to accommodate two-way traffic. The temporary bridge will have two 10-foot wide travel lanes and 2-foot wide shoulders. The temporary bridge will be constructed to the south of the existing bridge. Once construction is complete, traffic will be shifted onto the temporary bridge and the existing bridge will be demolished. After the replacement bridge is constructed, traffic will be shifted back to the permanent bridge, and the temporary bridge and approaches, including the walls, will be removed. Homes and docks adjacent to the bridge replacement project will be monitored for pre- and post-construction settlement. Design and construction of the Fifth Street Bridge replacement project is funded by the Florida Department of Transportation and the City of New Smyrna Beach. Design is anticipated to be completed in early 2021. Construction is anticipated to begin in fall 2021 and last about 18 months. We invite your comments and questions through any of the following means. You may type your question or comment into the question box during this virtual meeting. You may download a comment form from the handout section and send it back to the address shown on the form. Or you may send your comments to Amanda Woods, project consultant, by email at awoods@drmp.com or to New Smyrna Beach City Engineer Kyle Fegley at kfegley@cityofnsb.com. All comments and questions submitted by October 25th will become part of the record for this meeting and will receive a written response. We will now open the floor to questions and comments. If you'd like to ask a question, please type your question in the question pane. If you are calling in by telephone or are unable to enter a question in the question pane, we ask that you please contact Amanda Woods by phone at 407-896-0594 or Kyle Fegley at 386-410-2811 to provide your comment after this meeting. As a reminder, we will reply to all questions and comments in writing after the meeting. So before we get to the questions, I do want to quickly just welcome any elected officials that have joined us for this meeting. I appreciate your interest in coming tonight. Also, I want to launch just a really quick poll before we give folks time to type in questions. So you're going to see a little poll pop up on your screen. I hope. Let's try this again. Perfect. So if you could just take a quick second to answer that question for us, and then we'll share the results. Okay. See if I can share these results with you real quick. So it looks like almost half and half, slightly more of you did attend our public meeting in 2018. So for those of you that are new to the project, thanks very much again for your interest and for joining us. And we will get started on the questions. I'm going to go back to the presentation. It looks like we do have some questions that have come in. So George and Amanda, the first question that we have are, what are the dimensions of the span supports?
Sure, Carolyn, if you could go back to slide 9. So the bridge is going to be a 3-span bridge. The total length will be approximately 160 feet. There are going to be 3 spans, which are 53 foot, 4 inches apiece. If you go to the next slide, Carolyn. There you go. So at the very bottom, you can see that it's a 3-span bridge, and in between each of those pile vents is going to be between 53 and 54 feet.
Thanks very much.
Sure.
We also have a question about whether or not fishing would be allowed from the bridge.
No, right now fishing is not allowed from the bridge. There are signs posted at each end of the bridge that say no fishing allowed. The new bridge will have a sidewalk on the north side. However, we will be posting those signs again on each side of the bridge saying no fishing will be allowed.
Thank you. Again, if you do have a question, we ask that you please enter those questions in the question pane for us. Another question we've received was, what will be the weight limit of the new bridge?
So the weight limit will be per Florida code. Right now, the existing bridge has a posting of 15 tons. The new bridge will be able to carry a semi, delivery trucks. There will be no posting at all. So as far as specific tons, it will be as if it's a regular highway bridge going down the turnpike, I-4, I-95.
Great. We also had a question that came in talking about how much wider will the span be for increased water flow?
So right now, the bridge is a single span that's approximately 31 feet, 32 feet in length, the opening is. So we are going to be increasing the opening to 160 feet, with each span accommodating a little over 53 feet in width. So the total flow will be the entire 160 feet. The 2 end spans of the bridge will have sloped abutments and will have rubble riprap, but the water can come up and flow all the way to the bottom of the bridge. So there is a significant increase in the water flow from what the old bridge is to what the new bridge will be.
Great. Also had question, real quick, I forgot to mention, if you are entering a question in the question box, there's a little bit of a character limit. If for some reason you get cut off, please just continue in a new pane and so that we can get all of the questions. This might be a George question. Estimates for increase in water flow and how would it impact sediment within the canal cut?
Well,
oh, and I can go ahead and answer that, George, too. As far as
this project, do you want to take that, Amanda?
Yeah, I'll begin it and you can tack on to it if you'd like, but this project is a pure bridge replacement project. So really what we're doing here is we are replacing the bridge only. We are going to be opening up the channel based on the new design of the bridge, and water flow will increase. The velocity of the water will actually be less than what is out there now due to the wider channel. And that was analyzed by a hydraulic engineer, coastal engineer. And so as far as the dredging for this, This project is only for a bridge replacement project. There is not dredging associated with this project.
Yes, that's correct. That would be a standalone, a separate project. As Amanda mentioned, this project entails replacement of the bridge and bridge alone. We have not evaluated any surrounding community improvements or impacts beyond the footprint of the project. And that is in compliance with both the state and federal permitting guidelines.
Great. And how wide again was the sidewalk on the north side? I think, was it 5 foot?
5 foot, yeah, it's actually 5 feet 2 inches. But yep, it will be all the way across the bridge. And then as you exit the bridge, there will not be sidewalk, but there will be a wider grassed shoulder on that side.
And will the power be overhead across the new bridge?
So right now there's several existing utilities either attached to the bridge or the power line that's located along the north side of the bridge that's overhead. Prior to construction of this bridge project, there is a separate project that will relocate all of the utilities either attached to the bridge or the overhead power. So once this project is complete, there will be power poles on either side of the bridge, but the power will be the overhead power will not go across the channel.
And we had a question about estimated cost of the bridge.
So right now, the estimated cost of the bridge is approximately $2.5 million, which includes construction of the bridge and mitigation for the mangroves and oysters.
And Amanda, approximately, we said that construction would be about 18 months for the whole thing. How long would it typically take to put up the temporary bridge?
So the first 2 to 3 months will be prepping the whole site for the temporary bridge and then driving the piles for the temporary bridge in the channel. The temp bridge is going to be located south of the existing bridge. That process will take 2 to 3 months to drive the piles and put out the temporary steel structure. Then once that's done and in place, then the bridge, the existing one, will be demolished and then reconstructed in place. And so, and the reason why we give pretty much a time frame, you know, we're hoping the contractor could get this completed in about a year. However, due to unforeseen issues such as weather, hurricanes, we typically estimate anywhere from 15 to 18 months.
And a question came in during construction. Will the area under the bridge be kind of off limits for things like kayakers and things like that?
Yes, there's going to be protections in place that, depending on when they're doing certain elements of the bridge, kayakers may be able to pass through that area. However, there will be times that will be completely corded off so that no traffic can go underneath the bridge or around the bridge construction activities. Most of this work is going to be during the day. There's not going to be any type of nighttime work. So, you know, there may be limited access during this time.
Thank you. We had a question about how is the drainage being handled off of the bridge?
So off of the bridge, there is a drainage pipe that is located from Riverside going into Yacht Club Cut. That is going to have an extension placed on it during construction. That is right adjacent to the temp bridge that we are constructing. Then, you know, while the bridge is being constructed, there would be temporary drainage. And then once the bridge is completely finished, there will be inlets at either end of the bridge in all 4 corners.
And those inlets will have filter baskets to capture large particulates, you know, trash or anything like that. And that'll be in part of the city of maintenance plan to go out there and clean those baskets on a bi-monthly basis until they identify how much frequently they need to get out there and vacuum truck those baskets. But that is part of the water quality improvements that are being proposed with the new bridge.
Yep.
We had a question about work along Riverside Drive and how much work I guess will occur on that roadway.
Yeah, so right now, 5th Street goes straight across Riverside Drive. Because of the temporary bridge location, that new alignment will be approximately 40 feet south. So there's going to be some offset intersection there for approximately a year. There will be the temporary connection to the temp bridge from Riverside, but really it will only be within a limited area, maybe 100 feet or so. And that would be putting down the temporary approach to the bridge, the temp bridge, and then removing it afterwards, and then reconstructing the curbs to the 5th Street Bridge, the permanent location. So it does not extend down Riverside Drive at all, just directly in front of the bridge.
Okay. Is the sidewalk, is there a raised barrier between the sidewalk and the travel lanes on the bridge?
Karen, if you can go up to the slide number 8, one right before this slide.
Is that the
So
right one?
at the bottom, you can see the sidewalk. This is the bridge typical section. You see the 2 9-foot lanes. We're going to have a 2.5-foot shoulder on either side of the lanes. And then on the north side, we have that 5-foot sidewalk. The sidewalk will slope towards the gutter, the shoulder gutter on the bridge. And then it will be raised approximately 6 inches. And then we will have a barrier on the outside of the sidewalk.
And is there any lighting on the bridge?
So there is no lighting directly on the bridge. Just right off the bridge, within 20 to 30 feet on either side, we're going to have those overhead utility poles. Those are going to be fitted with lights that will have turtle shields, so that when turtles are in the area, they are protected from that light.
And somebody wanted to know if there would be, will the work on the bridge be done from land or barges on the water? And
So right now we are anticipating barges in the water. That of course is a means and methods for the contractor. And so we cannot necessarily dictate exactly how they decide to construct the bridge. We just have to ensure that there is a feasible way for them to construct the bridge. If you go down 2 slides, I believe, to number 10. Keep
Excellent.
other way.
I think.
Nope. Yep. Keep going. Down.
One more or 2 more.
There you go. Okay, so this is the temporary construction of the temp bridge. Here we see that there is a barge that we're anticipating will be in the water with a crane. They will be lifting the piles so that the piles can be driven within the actual yacht club cut. Once the piles are driven, they'll be constructing concrete pier caps on top, and then they will place the sections of the temp bridge. This will all be removed afterwards, and then that crane and barge, we anticipate they'll be using the same method to also construct the permanent bridge.
And I think you answered this question already, but there was a question about overnight pumping.
So what we're calling for, because this is a residential area, there will be the construction activities will only be limited to daytime. So that's pile driving, driving the sheet pile wall at the abutments. Any kind of work would be only allowed during the day. And that is really to make sure that we don't interfere with people's sleep. So it's a key point.
And then we were MOT for Riverside Drive. Will there be lane closures expected on Riverside?
We don't anticipate any lane closures on Riverside. You know, while we're constructing this, you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, the approach roadway. The existing bridge will still be open. We have some area that we can access right there. You know, if anything, there potentially could be limited MOT, but you know, right now we do not foresee that. And you can see that right between the existing bridge and the proposed temporary bridge, that area is going to be filled in. So it will be all the same grade. So that will actually be area where the contractor can set up and, you know, use as a laydown area for any materials he has to. And then once that temporary bridge is open, he has the use of that entire area at the existing bridge to, you know, put any kind of construction materials, cranes, anything necessary to construct the bridge.
I had a question about some of the docks to the south. Will construction be impacting any of the existing private docks?
No, there will be no impacts to the existing docks. You can see right there that first dock is very close, but we do not have any impacts to it. Again, we will be constructing pre and post construction surveys. What they'll do is prior to any construction commencing, the houses and also the docks that we've identified, and that was in a different slide that we had, those the contractor will be required to go out, survey those. Then after construction is finished, he will survey them again to make sure that there's no settlement, no cracks, no issues with those structures.
And we had a question about, do we have an idea of how much, I guess, rocks and dirt and other things will be removed?
Yeah, so if you go to, I believe, slide 9, you can see, yeah, there you go. You can see that this is considerably longer than the existing bridge out there. So we are removing all of that middle portion and creating that open waterway. That middle span that you can see where the arrows are, that is approximately 53 feet. The existing bridge that's out there right now would fit in that span. So if that gives you a sense of, you know, how much we're removing, it's quite a lot.
And we had a follow-up question about the lighting, and they were asking why lighting is not on the bridge itself.
Because we did the photometrics for the bridge, and we could actually light the bridge completely from the end spans, which is more practical. So as long as we meet those FDOT, the lighting criteria for that, it doesn't matter if the lights are on the bridge or off the bridge, as long as we meet those, then we're good. And we were able to do that by keeping the lights off of the bridge.
And I think you might have answered this too, and maybe it's shown on this diagram, but the, I guess, average depth of the water under the bridge.
So the average depth of the water, I think you can see where the channel at the bottom elevation view, you can see where the largest, the deepest part of the channel is. It's several feet. I believe it's about 4 feet at that location. Of course, because this is tidal, it varies depending on if it's high tide or low tide. Right now, the clearance is approximately 3 feet, and we take that with like a mean high water. We are going to be raising the bridge over the channel approximately 2 feet. So you're going to get a little bit over a 5-foot vertical clearance on average above the top of the water.
And the sidewalk from the bridge, will it connect? I think you said it won't connect to sidewalk on either side. Is that correct? Well, there's no
Correct.
sidewalk on the Smyrna Yacht Club side?
No, there is no sidewalk on the yacht club side. The sidewalk is on the north side. It's going to be 5 foot in width on the bridge. Once you walk off the edges of the bridge and onto the roadway, it will be a grassed area, which is wider and flatter so that it ties into where the sidewalk on the bridge is. But because there are no existing or proposed sidewalks on either side, we did not provide those.
One other question. Will there be any resurfacing of the section from the end of the bridge to Riverside Drive?
Yes, that is actually going to be completely removed and completely reconstructed. So one of the reasons, not only that this bridge is 55 years old, it's ending its service life of 75 years, but at the beginning and end of the bridge, the approaches themselves, there's some settlement there, some bad pavement. There's also, deterioration around the slopes at either end of the bridge. So this is going to be completely reconstructed. You can see in this exhibit right here, that dark area, which is on the left side, that is adjacent to Riverside, that will be completely removed, and then new base and pavement placed leading up to the bridge.
Thank you, guys. We've gotten some great questions. I have not seen any new questions come in yet, just making sure. Again, for those of you who, if anybody signed in late or missed any part of this presentation or just wanted to listen to it again, we will be providing the recording of the meeting to the city. And we can also provide a link if you contact us. And I'm going to put that contact slide back up. I think we answered that one. Is the bridge going to be marked with a sharrow indicating bicyclists?
No, we will not be marking the bridge with a sharrow.
And you talked about the area that contractors could use as potential staging areas. Have other staging areas already been determined, or will that be up to the contractor?
That will be up to the contractor. I mean, there are areas adjacent to there, but it will be determined once the contractor is chosen, and it will be the contractor's responsibility to coordinate those areas.
And Amanda, could you talk just briefly about sort of the design of the bridge that was chosen and the benefits of the design of the bridge that was chosen?
Sure. So, initially we had a public meeting just about 2 years ago. We had a shorter bridge that was really replacing the bridge in kind of what was out there. Based on some public comment, we went back. We did an environmental review of the area, and we ended up moving forward with a longer bridge. The 165 feet, the 3 spans, that's going to open up the waterway so that the flow will be improved. With that, hopefully, we'll have some of those natural species coming back into the area that I know some of the residents talked about that they had missed seeing. This bridge will provide 2.5-foot shoulders on either side of the 9-foot lanes. That is an increase over what is already out there. Right now, you only have 2 9-foot lanes. So really that is safer for when cars are passing by each other on the bridge. I know from being out there and doing field reviews, there are some, delivery trucks that deliver to the yacht club quite often, and it will give a little bit more room as cars are going side by side across the bridge. In addition, if you live over on Commodore Island and say wanted to walk across to Riverside or get to the other side, we did provide that 5-foot sidewalk so that you have a little bit safer refuge area to walk across. If two cars are crossing at the same time on the bridge. You know, one of the benefits of this design as well is the slope pavement, or rather the rubble riprap, the sloped abutments at either end of the bridge. That's going to cut down on some of the washout that you currently have at the existing one. That rubble riprap, they're very large rocks that will go around there. Definitely slow down some of the velocities in the channel at the end spans and protect the bridge long term. And then just the reconstruction of each side of the approaches, you know, that will create a smoother ride on either side. And then in addition, the inlets and each of the four corners of the bridge, getting that water off immediately. And this is a low speed facility. It's 25 miles per hour. The temporary bridge, while that is going to be, you know, up there for approximately a year, it will have about a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit on it. But certainly the temp bridges that we're putting out there, they're actually used on, you know, 65-mile-an-hour highways. So they're very capable of taking higher speeds. It's just, you know, because of the area itself, we'll have it posted for 15. So overall, this bridge is going to promote a lot of flow through Yacht Club Cut. It's safer because of the wider, the bridge width is wider, you know, the shoulders, the sidewalk, and it'll be there for a really long time. So
It restores the flow to what it was pre-1965. Is that
yes,
correct? With the causeway.
Yep.
Are there any aesthetic treatments included for the bridge?
No, there are not any specific aesthetic treatments included with the bridge. No coloring, no special rails, just, you know, your standard bridge.
Okay. I think I addressed all of them. If I did not, I apologize. We will be responding to all of the questions again in writing after the meeting. We really do appreciate everybody's interest. I want to put up Kyle and Amanda's contact information again.
Yeah, and I just want to address one I see that came up about the tractor trailers.
Mhm.
The new bridge will be able to handle, say, a tractor trailer coming over. For instance, if you're moving in and out of that neighborhood over there and needed to have a moving van, a large one, the new bridge will be able to accommodate that going across the bridge. So I hope that answers your question. Not that we're encouraging, you know, semi trucks to go across frequently, but it's certainly the new bridge can handle that. And the bridge is made to, will be constructed for a service life of 75 years.
Thanks for catching that one, Amanda. We've gotten lots of great questions, which is a good thing. So we do appreciate everybody taking time to join our virtual project update meeting. Again, we will be placing a recording of this presentation and providing the city with all of the exhibit boards that are in your handout section. I do encourage you to take a moment to download those to your computer. The plan view that we were looking at earlier, as well as the MOT plan and some other boards are there. So we encourage you to download those, and they will be available from the city or from Amanda or Kyle after this meeting if you would like a copy. Okay, I don't think I'm seeing any new questions come in.
I do see this staging area,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe we did address the staging area. That will be something that the contractor will be determining once they bid the project.
And I believe when they go to construction, those folks will have to abide by all city regulations and make
Absolutely.
appropriate arrangements with whoever the property owner is that they're speaking with.
Yep, and the contract will be the finished, and I'll go through the schedule real quick as well. Design of the project will be finalized in March of this year, or March of 2021, sorry. We're already in October. But then there will be a bid period of approximately 30 days. And then at the end of that, the contractor will be chosen. And we anticipate that will be in September of 2021. And then depending on their schedule, it could be as little as 30 days before they start construction, and then anywhere from 15 to 18 months.
Thank you. I've not seen any other ones that have come through. I'll just give it one more minute if anybody else has any other questions. We really do appreciate you all joining us for this. And if you do have any additional questions that come up afterward or comments, please send them to Amanda or Kyle. We are keeping the comment period for this meeting open until October 25th. So if you have neighbors or folks who did not get a chance to tune in, they can get a copy of the recording to view it and then submit questions if they would like. You covered the construction schedule. Okay. Well, I don't see any new questions that have come in, Amanda.
Okay.
So I think with that, we'll go ahead and close the virtual update meeting. Again, all of this information is available for viewing on demand later. You can contact us for a link to the recording, email or call, and we can make sure that you get that information. So we do appreciate everybody joining this evening. I'm going to go to our little thank you slide. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great evening.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.